Hey everybody, don't need those in. How's it going today, this evening? Welcome to the Financial Thing Thursday evening live stream. Wow. I think everything is working today, as I could tell. Seem to have everything back to normal with our technology. Thank God, finally got it figured out. Got the green shake. Look at that. Pretty nice. How's everybody doing? It's nice to see you. Thank you for spending your Thursday evening with me. We're going to talk about investing stuff today. Peer-to-peer lending. We're going to talk about the stock market, what's going on, what I'm personally doing, kind of shifting things a little bit. The trading 212 portfolio has changed significantly, and I'm going to show you what's going on with that. We're going to talk a little bit about some cryptocurrency and a very, very interesting type of investing that I found out about that you probably have never heard of. Neither had I. Or I had heard of it, but really hadn't paid too much of attention to it. So we're going to have a little chat about that. And as you might notice on the up here, we have a sponsor of our weekly live stream. As you know, this is something that I do to give back to you, but obviously comes with a lot of time expense. So Cufflink has generously decided to sponsor our YouTube stream and videos, and very generous. You know, I do offer things to companies that I enjoy working with, and Cufflink is one of them. So if you haven't signed up for Cufflink, please go ahead and do that. You can get up to £4,000 of cash back Wonga at Cufflink. So I'm going to put in the link. So if you want to sign up for Cufflink, give them a try. Somebody I invest through myself, have a good relationship with them. They seem to be doing right. So here we go. Here's the Cufflink link to sign up. If you'd like to do that, you can do that. Try them out. If you can hit the thumbs up, very much appreciated. Get that done early so I don't have to bug you about it throughout the entire live stream. And today we're going to excuse the coughing, it's the allergies. But today we're going to talk about what's going on at the House crowd. As I'm sure you've heard, House crowd filing for administration. Another unfortunate casualty of the war on the economy and also peer-to-peer. And I've always said that I really believe that we needed some kind of a financial downturn to really weed out these bad companies. And the House crowd, anyway, I'm going to talk about them a little bit later and give you my thoughts. You can let me know what you think about that in the comments if you're an investor. I never really had a lot of money invested through the House crowd. People always ask me, well, where do you invest and what are your thoughts on certain companies? Well, in most cases, not all, in most cases, I kind of tend to put my money where my mouth is. There are a couple of companies I really like out there that I don't have a lot of money with just because of capital and where I'm sort of allocating things around to test out platforms for the reviews and stuff like that. But for the most part, House crowd was one that I was very small investment amount in, and that was what I was comfortable with. I really wasn't comfortable putting any more in than what I had for certain reasons. But yeah, we're going to talk about them. Let's go ahead and say hi to everybody in the stream today. Mike Powell, hi, nice to see you. Southampton, sorry if the hair's a little bit of a mess today. Yes, Norman, we are here from very grey Sussex, and disclaimer is a good sign. Cheeky Boy is here, Peter Vince, Paul Bagworth and Kenilworth, and Colin Perry from the Peak District, Alan Toombs, Brian and Woburn, Robert Pates. I am here. Robert, as you can tell, this is obviously your chats are a little bit delayed. Yes, I am here. We did figure out the technical issues, so we're all good now. With that, hi Double D. Dividend Dave Dawson is here from Staffordshire. Yes, there are adverts, and for everybody that's wondering why, well, we finally hit our 1,000 subscriber mark. which means now that YouTube is going to hopefully pay me about 10 pence a month in revenue to run ads. If you click on those ads, I think we get a little bit more money, but financial thing is a business, and I do have to eat and feed the dog. So that's why there are those adverts. You can get ad blockers if you want to block those things out. You just have to do your research on that. But ads help us out a lot, help the stream, help the revenue. So that's why. So big thank you to everybody who's subscribed to the channel, by the way. And mark it on your calendars. We're going to be doing a celebratory giveaway of cryptocurrency on, when are we going to do that? I think I posted it, and now I can't remember. I think on I want to say the 18th, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, March 18th. So I'm going to give you some time to get a crypto wallet. I put up my Coinbase link here if you want to try to sign up for a Coinbase account. I know some people have had some issues with that, but persevere. I signed up for my sister last week, and we had absolutely no issues. She got up and going straight away. So give it a go. You get, why is this? I'm wondering why it's not working. But let me see if I can copy this into the chat. Maybe I have already done it 6 times already. Okay. So yeah, if you sign up with that link, you get 77 pounds free on 100 pound, 70 pounds. Here you go. Use that link. Get yourself a crypto wallet, because if you win on the 18th, I'm going to need a wallet to send you the money, send you the cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin, which I recommend you hang on to. You don't want to sell it if you win, because you're going to pay taxes on it. So hold it for, I believe, a year is the best time frame. But I don't know how much I'm going to give away. It'll definitely be over 150 pounds worth of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, probably in like 25 pounds or 50 pound chunks. See how generous I'm feeling. But come mark your calendars, March the 18th. And again, that's a big thank you to everybody that signed up and subscribed to the YouTube channel to get us over 1,000, which I really, really appreciate. It's been a hard slog, I'm not going to lie, grinding from 0 to 1,000. Naturally, I had to prod some friends and family to kind of get me over the hump. But thank you for helping me do that. And I'm going to give back to you people for being such loyal watchers on March the 18th. So be here on March the 18th. Okay, now, just again, thank you to our sponsor, Cufflink. Here we go. I have to say hi to them. Hold on one second. Here again is our little plug here, and that's obviously not displaying very well, but thank you again to Cufflink and Narinda, who came onto our stream a couple of weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, did a live Q&A. So you can sign up right here, join.cufflink.com/financial thing. If you want to support Cufflink and support them as a sponsor of this YouTube channel, very much appreciate that. Anyway, and just so you understand that sponsorship will not tilt bias at all towards what I tell you about them, and they understand that. I've always been a very unbiased source of medium information for you. It will continue to be like that. The fact of the matter is that this is a business, and there comes to a point where the state of peer-to-peer and what it is, we have to sometimes reach out. We have advertising on the website, affiliate links. That's how Financial Thing makes money. If Financial Thing didn't make money, I would not be able to do this every week. I would not be able to do the website. So yes, it is completely unbiased, and I will tell you the truth about them and about every other peer-to-peer lending company with the information that I know. So who else is here? We got Hillary Head Duke from Nottingham, Stephen Green, Robert Pates in Greece, Tony Walton in Taunton, Somerset, Peter Clark in Huntington, Nine Axel Phil from the Wirral, new name. Yes, absolutely. David Alderman from Chilton's. Sue Lund from Tenerife. Peter Clark, thank you for the Well wishes on the 1,000 subscribers. And Colin, thank you for that. Really appreciate that. Yes, you all get tea and cakes, Norman. Absolutely. Just no bread and water. Yeah, and also John Day, hi, Nottingham. Thank you, Stephen Hale, for the congrats. Debbie from the sunny Caymans, thank you very much. Appreciate that so much for the thank yous and the congratulations on the YouTube subs. Darren Chimpo Naughty is here. Annabelle Nyron, hola, señores y señoras. Hello, ladies and gents, she said in Spanish for all of those that don't speak. Robbie Roberts, thank you for the congratulations. Really appreciate that. It's very kind. Dan Barber, hi from Hayfield. Dave Ellard, as I said, no, it does not. The cufflink sponsorship will not tilt the way that I feel or the reports. Yes, David Lightly says, be careful, Lawrence. Cufflink have negative equity, losing money, hand over fist, and their auditors gave a very qualified report and then resigned. Apart from that, they might be okay. Yes, I have read the accounting report. I don't know about the resignation. I didn't necessarily read about that, but I did read the accounting report. We'll see what happens. Again, we are a business. I personally have my money invested through Cufflink. Of course, I have no guarantee what happens in the future. As with any peer-to-peer lending, risk is involved. As with any investment, risk is involved. I've had a share that I bought a few years ago that went to absolute zero and went bankrupt, so everything has a risk, so just be prepared. Know that if you are investing in peer-to-peer lending, it's not covered by the FSCS at all. So yes, there's going to be some risk involved. But anyway, and because Cufflink is sponsoring this, I am able to do things like these giveaways, and I do try to give back to you guys in the form of whatever I can do by that. I might just move this little. Let's see if I can move this. Did I lock it? Hold on one second. I'm going to move it down here. There we go. The amazing wonders of technology. In that way, it's not quite so distracting next to my head. But let's talk about what's going on this week in peer-to-peer lending. If you have questions about your investments, whether it's peer-to-peer, stock market, crowdfunding, cryptocurrency, whatever you're interested in, put it in the comments. I will do my best to answer whatever I can. And we will finish under an hour today, guaranteed, like we do every week. Don't forget to, if you want to join the action groups for the companies that have gone out of business, like Funding Secure, Lendy, Wellesley & Co., you can find those on Facebook. Just Google Funding Secure Action Group or whichever one, Lendy Action Group. There are some representatives usually in the chat that are involved in those action groups. So, and then also, if you want to join the Facebook Financial Thing group, just go on Facebook and Google us, and you will find us, and I will let you in, providing you're not a spammer, because honestly, the group has been hit a couple of times by spammers, but we always get rid of those mofos quickly. And now I know how to spot them, because they're not very smart, these people. So they're applying for accounts and to be accepted in the group, but they're pretty easy to spot. So if you're out there, scammers, you're not going to get in. All right, let's talk about Loanpad, my slow and steady peer-to-peer lending company. They've upped their loan count this week. 47 last week. Loans on their platform now up to 50. If you haven't checked out Loanpad, I recommend that you do. They're what I consider to be one of the lowest risk peer-to-peer companies out there. Louis Schwartz is running a good operation, in my opinion. You're not going to get a ton of interest, but you're going to get daily interest, which is nice to see. And for the risk that you're taking on the loan book, with loan to values now in the high 30%, it's looking like a pretty good place to put money at the moment. So 50 loans on the book, up from 47 last week. We still only have one default. Apologies for the tickle. It's that pollen season. So yeah, one default. We have 5 extended loans. Average loan size dropped a little bit to $415,000. And we have 2 loans that are being covered by the Interest Coverage Fund, which is Loanpad's provision fund. So, and they've used about £19,600 of the $40,000 Interest Coverage Fund. Loanpad tends to be pretty good when it comes to how they manage these loans that either go extended or into default. And they're going to be clarifying exactly how those are categorized sooner rather than later, I hope. So Loanpad, again, slow and steady, 20.7 million pounds of loans secured by about 54.8 million pounds of property, loan to value of only 38%. Good job over there at Loanpad. Still continue to think that they are doing really good things, and I like them a lot. So let's talk about the House Crowd. If you're not familiar with the House Crowd, they're a peer-to-peer lending company that they sort of grew up with what I consider was the golden age of peer-to-peer, when it seemed like none of the companies could do any wrong, right? And House Crowd is based up in Manchester, in suburbs of Manchester, in Hale, near there. Been up to their office once, met Fraser Fernhead, and yeah, I was really kind of surprised to hear about the administration news. It came very much out of the blue. But as somebody that's kind of watched the House Crowd, and I do have a little bit of money invested in there, I didn't really see anything happening, and I was curious to what was going on. And by the way, I did reach out to Fraser via email and asked if he would sit down, have a phone call with me, and just kind of give me an update. Likely of that happening, probably not so much. If I could talk him to coming on the live stream, that would be a huge victory, but for legal reasons, I'm pretty sure that he won't do that. But I'm going to ask anyways. My goal is to actually get either a representative from each of these companies that got in administration to tell me what their story is, because I would like to know, and I think people deserve to know. I'd love to get a Funding Secure rep, a Lendy rep on here, a Wellesley & Co. rep, collateral rep, but chances of them coming here and being able to face up in front of you guys and me to put their story out there is probably very minimal, but I'll continue to try. I want to ask those tough questions and get answers to exactly what's going on. I just got a message from a friend of mine said, I told you not to buy those electric car stocks. He's referring to Tesla. Shout out to Ian, by the way, in Australia. I'm sure he's not watching this. But yeah, so the House Crowd, not entirely surprised, but I was surprised at the speed of how it happened. Administration is being done by Quan Tuma. What I think happened with the House Crowd, and it's really interesting because I sat down with another peer-to-peer lending head boss whose company pivoted out of property rentals. So there was a couple of companies that used to sell shares in properties. Right now, well, the only one left that we have is Property Partner, and to a certain degree, Assets Capital has a side business that does that. They sell shares in property. And the guy who owned the other business told me that he didn't see how anybody in that space could survive with that business model, because he had to pivot out of that business model into something else. So the House Crowd originally started by selling shares in buy-to-lets that people could, get rental income from. But there was a question as to how, that business model could really be monetized profitably, because managing multiple properties like that is a real pain in the butt. Now, I remember when I went up to House Crowd's office and I just saw the board of keys to all these properties up there, and I was thinking, wow, and self-managing must be really resource sucking, because I know I've managed like 3 apartments before, and it was a pain. Three flats. People constantly calling about things, so I can only imagine what having 40 or 30 or 50 of these things is like. Profitable? I don't know. It obviously wasn't. So when the House Crowd then turned into more developing side of things, I wasn't sold on exactly how they were, number one, did they have any real experience in that field, and were they going to be able to turn a profit? And at the end of the day, that's what these companies have to do at some point. They've got to become profitable. If they don't, you get an economic turn down that happens, like with COVID. Next thing you know, you're not well capitalized, and this is the biggest problem, I think, with some of the weaker peer-to-peer lending companies out there, is the capitalization isn't very strong. When you don't have a lot of capital behind you to ride through these really turndowns and slowdowns in the economy, then the business is just not going to survive. Yeah, so I don't know what happens with this administration. If you are an investor with the house crowd and you're wondering what the hell's going to happen with my money, the only thing I can tell you is history has not been kind to companies that are in administration. We've seen it now with the four that are in administration. We're seeing it with money thing, collateral, lending, funding, secure. Wells Sinclair, that's 5 now. The house crowd will be number 6. And we just haven't had good results with money being repaid. So what's going to happen? I don't know. I guess it depends what happens with the developments. There's a couple of little warning flags that I thought was a little strange. So in 2019, Mr. Sue Hale resigned, who was a big part of the business. And I think I've said this before, when I see people resigning from companies that I think play very important parts, I do start to get a little concerned. It happened with Growth Street when Greg Carter left, who I thought was a really great guy to be in charge of that company, and all of a sudden he was gone. That was when I thought, Growth Street is probably not where I want to keep on investing. We saw it happen with the house crowd with Sue Hale. We saw it happen with Funding Secure when Nigel Hackett left. Maybe that's the warning sign that we have to look out for, is when somebody of importance separates from a company. Is there something going on behind closed doors that we can't see? Another interesting thing was I have a friend who is a property surveyor in the Manchester area, and about 2 or 3 days before the announcement about the house crowd actually going into the administration, he told me that he was going to go survey that building, which, yeah, I didn't kind of put 2 and 2 together. In fact, I told my friend, you should go say hello to Fraser, because maybe he'll throw you some business. And then that happened. So very, very odd happenings. But I guess, as always with these administrations, I'll try to have a positive outlook and, try to hope for the best for everybody that has money invested. But it's certainly, a knock on peer-to-peer and on the sector as a whole. Many people are going to think this is not a place that's safe to invest money. Really, there are some good companies out there. There's good companies in the peer-to-peer sector, but you have to understand that what's happening right now is the economy is washing out the bad companies. And it's happening in other sectors too, not just peer-to-peer lending. It's happening in cryptocurrency. A bad economy is going to wash out the worthless coins that we call the shite coins. And stocks that are overvalued right now are, resetting to values that should be more sensible. We've seen it with Tesla, and price to earnings was ridiculous. Now it's starting to deflate down. So this is what happens in these downturns. Things get washed out. It's like a washing machine coming in and cleaning out all the dirty washing. But the problem is, as investors, we have money in these companies, and obviously we don't want to get burned. So we have to be really careful about which of these companies that we choose to invest in. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Very early days in the house crowd administration. We don't really know what's going on with their developments, how this is going to be handled. I have a feeling that it's going to be a big mess, just because of the amount of houses that they have. Just there's a lot of property, there's a lot of investors, and usually what happens is these administrators end up sucking away all the fees, sucking away all the recoveries through fees. So That's what the history has shown us, so I don't know if that's going to happen again, but I wouldn't bet that we're going to get a huge amount of recoveries back just because of the administration fees. And then, we've had the funding secured, this Richard Luxmore story about a court claim saying there was false and fraudulent document to conceal I think it was 8.1 million pounds of loans that he had made to a property developer. And this whole thing about fraud is becoming a bit of a commonplace thing. Look, it happens all the time too. Don't think that peer-to-peer lending is the only sector that has fraud. You saw it with the London financial bond collapse. There's obviously some things have gone on behind closed doors there. We've seen it with the Woodford Fund, questionable things that have gone on there. And these regulatory bodies like the FCA can really do very limited things to prevent this stuff from happening. What people do behind closed doors, these financial companies, we really have very little control over. So I think you're going to see some more stories come out like this. I've been hearing some things about another company that's in administration that can't really come out here and tell you what it is at the moment, but I'm doing more research to find out, is there some fraudulent stuff going on with that company that's now in administration. And I think it'll all come out in the end. It's unfortunate. It sucks. Sorry to everybody that's got money tied up in these companies, but that's part of the risk that when we put up money in these companies, we have to take some risk. And that's why, again, diversification is super important. Make sure you do not put your money into just one or two companies. You just spread it around a little bit, not necessarily to the 15 or 20 that I had, but definitely you want to be 5, 6, or 7 companies, good companies in the peer-to-peer lending world. Spread your money around, and don't get married too. Don't get married to any of these companies. If you feel you see something that's not right and your gut is telling you, no, I don't really like this, then it's okay to jump ship. Believe me, I do it all the time. I've had considerable amounts of money invested in MoneyThing, and when I didn't feel comfortable, I started to reduce my holdings in there. So don't get married to any of these companies. You're not getting paid enough interest to be married to them. It's not like you're getting 15 or 20% a year. But again, my top 5 really hasn't changed. Octopus Choice, obviously, now exiting the market through their own decision, will come off the top 5, but it's still Loanpad, Assets Capital, Cufflink. Now, probably, Unbolted will be in there at this point, and who's the other one? Crowd Property. I think good companies at the moment. Blend Network, I really, really like what Yan's doing over there. If I'm able to free up some capital, money will be going over to Blend Network. I know there's always a difficult of demand and supply with some of these companies like Crowd Property and Blend. People have just a hard time getting their money invested because there's too many investors and not enough loans. But that's just what comes along with investing through those companies. And as companies like RateSetter end up exiting the market, you're going to have more money out there that's looking for places to be invested. So it's probably going to be more difficult to get into some of the better quality peer-to-peer lending companies because demand and supply obviously has changed a lot. Just part of what comes along with it. What else? LendInvest is saying that they're going to focus on buy-to-let mortgages and moving away from development lending. Obviously, with COVID, builders are becoming a little more gun-shy with developments that they're taking on, so LendInvest is preferring to go with the buy-to-let mortgage focus. And to be honest, I don't blame them. I mean, LandBay, who, if anybody was invested through LandBay, made a really good job of investing through buy-to-let mortgages. I think it's pretty solid place. So LendInvest focusing on that. It's really, really good to hear. I like that. I'm very, very happy to hear that they'll be focused on buy-to-let mortgages. Again, LendInvest not really a peer-to-peer company, but they're one, two. Actually, they would they would definitely be on my top 5 too. So there's going to be a fight for number 6. That's going to be interesting. Who is going to get knocked off that top 5? Because LendInvest would have to be on there, but again, technically not peer-to-peer. So should they be on the top 5 list? I don't know. It's interesting. But I definitely think that they are doing good things. Very, very interested to hear about this green energy-backed fund that the government is going to be releasing. We'll get details about it early summer. Yeah, I was pretty happy to hear about that. I don't think that the interest rate on this bond is going to be very good. It's going to be issued through NSNI, a £15 billion green bond that the government's issuing. It'll be a gilt savings bond. It's to help finance projects to tackle things like climate change, fund infrastructure and investments, and create environmentally friendly jobs across the country. Green energy, it's where it's at the moment. If I had to take a guess on how much that bond is going to pay, I think you're going to get about 1.5% if you're lucky on a bond like that. So maybe there'll be some tax advantages there. Getting 1.5% nowadays is really, honestly, I'd rather take my cash and just put it into cryptocurrency, even though that sounds incredibly risky, right? But for me personally, I don't think it's as risky as you might consider it to be. But getting 1.5% or 1% on your money is pretty risky, because inflation is going to eat away at your cash every month and every year. Remember, if you are seeing inflation at 2% and you're getting 0.25% in the bank or nothing, then over 10 years you're losing 20% of your currency value. It's never a good thing. You're going to lose to inflation. I believe inflation is going to rise at some point. We're seeing all this movement in oil at the moment, so things are getting more expensive. Oil prices are obviously going up. So I think we'll see inflation rise. The government cannot continue to just keep printing money and throwing money at this economic problem. So your fiat currency of pounds or dollars or whatever it is that you're holding right now is going to become worth less and less and less. This is why I'm so bullish on cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin. And as your money becomes worth less, you really have to find places to put it. And unfortunately, you're going to be, you're going to have to take risks to do that, which is it's kind of one of the downsides, isn't it? What the government has done to us, they're forcing us to take investment risks, because money inside of a bank is just not getting anything in returns. So we, as savers, have to gamble everything, put it in the stock market, put it in cryptocurrency, wherever we can get yields, put it in peer-to-peer lending. You've seen how that has turned out in some cases. So this is why I'm big on cryptocurrency, and particularly as a store of value, because we're going to have a big economic problem. It's coming. You may not think it's coming, but I see this huge economic problem continuing with this money print. So I'm always looking for places to store cash to try to get a return. But yes, this green bond is certainly interesting. If it pays anything worth looking at, I would probably have a bit of a punt at it, but 1% or 1.5% is not really going to get me excited. Maybe you could say it's a bit of an ultra-risky investment because it helps fund jobs across the country in the UK. But you know what? At the end of the day, you got to make a return on your money, right? So, that's... Oh, by the way, you're going to have to bear with me here because I need to... Oh, do I? I was going to make a trade. I thought I might make a trade today. Let me show you what's going on in the Trading 212 portfolio. Let's put this up on the screen. We've made some changes to the portfolio. If this is your first time tuning in, I took £5,500, which is equivalent to about $8,500 US, And in an attempt to beat the indexes, which I think is very hard to do long term, and I'm proving myself very wrong at the moment. I've gotten very lucky. Timing has been quintessentially lucky. Let me show you what's going on in the portfolio here. Bingo. Hopefully you can see this okay. Yeah, so I went to cash. I've moved everything, well, not everything, but a lot of the shares that I owned in here, the tech side of things have gone now, particularly Tesla. I ended up selling out all of the Tesla stock that I had made pretty good money on. Let's see if I can show you the history of the trades here of what I did. This is the beginning of the sales, happened on February the 23rd, before things really started to hit the fan. So Magnite, which we had made almost 300% on, and had dropped back to about 250%. So I ended up selling those. I got rid of the Tesla stock here, the Alteryx, more Magnite shares here, more Tesla stock right here sold, more Magnite sold here yesterday. So I ended up completely liquidating out of that, buying some of this Bonanza Creek, which is an energy company. And now what I'm going to be doing with this portfolio is probably investing most of it into energy stocks like oil. As you can see here, right now we have about 5,258 pounds in cash before we were fully invested. The portfolio is still done well, and for anybody that's investing and is interested in that, just be aware that flipping in and out of shares like this highly risky. I do it for content for the channel. It's an experiment. It's not really the way that I like to invest, and it is a small percentage of what I invest in the entire market. But right now the portfolio has returned about 6,000, a little bit less, so about 5,000 pounds, which we started at 5,500. So really super happy with that. You can see here the positions that are left. There's only 6 of them. Aurora Cannabis, which is down in the red, 19.67%. We got Bonanza Creek Energy. Again, that was bought on February 23rd. So a little bit over a week now, we're already up 20%. I was supposed to buy twice the amount of shares, and I just forgot to do it. So I'm a little bit miffed about that. No, I was supposed to buy about 64 shares. I only bought about 32. So I'm not going to actually, I'm not really sure if I'm going to buy more of those at this point, because we've seen this run up. You can see here Centrus Energy again in the red, 16.53%. LPI has been good. This Laredo Petroleum, I think we'll see a run up on that, as we had the OPEC meeting today about OPEC not increasing the oil supply. We saw a big bump in the, you can see here today, this is after the OPEC announcement, and we were up here to $36, but now we drop back to 33 opening price. Lloyd's Bank continuing to do really well, up over 40p now, 62% return. And then our little mini Tullow Oil, which I was very skeptical about. This is a very high risk company in London, oil and gas exploration company that focuses on West Africa, so highly risky, but only put a little bit in there, and that has gone up about 40%. So in hindsight, this is the problem with investing in individual stocks and shares. You think, God, I wish I'd have put more into this Tullow Oil or Lloyd's Bank. But the thing to remember, it's never wrong to take profits in companies if you're ahead. Don't get greedy and think, oh, I'm just going to hang in there. It's like with the Tesla stock. Tesla was, I think when I sold it, was up about 80%. I have no problem dumping those shares and taking profit, because number one, it can always buy back in. I have some thoughts and sentiments. I think Tesla can go down in the $400 range, maybe even $350. Wouldn't be a bad time to buy back in. So yeah, right now sitting on cash, so probably make some decisions about what to do with this portfolio in the next few days, but probably oil and energy will be the play for that. So that's what's going on, and I'm just going to look at your comments, see if you have any comments or questions. I'm sure you always do. against my madness of what I'm doing with the channel and this portfolio. I almost thought about increasing the portfolio and doubling it up and see if I could maybe try to get it to 50,000, but my risk appetite is not always as high as probably I would like it to be. So I always try to keep it, keep it really as a fixed percentage of my entire portfolio. So if I'm investing 100% into the stocks and shares, I probably only want to be maybe 15, 20% max in single shares like that. That's what I feel comfortable with. But hindsight is everything. It's when you are doing well, you think, wow, I made the best decision, right? But when things are not going well, you think, wow, I wish I hadn't invested in that. Let's see. Any thoughts on Assets Exchange? Again, Assets Exchange is, I think, from what I've looked at, is another one of these companies that sells shares in property. If I look at history, I've not found it to be particularly exciting. Those companies that have done that, sold shares in properties, have really struggled. So maybe Assets Exchange has a better way of doing it. I don't know. But it hasn't been anything that I've really wanted to invest in, to be honest. Do I know anything about Loanpad's crowdfunding? I know that they want to raise money. A lot of these companies always want to raise money to expand. So they're offering shares, equity shares. Again, not a fan of doing that. I like the company. I like Loanpad, but buying shares in startups and tech companies is highly risky. Maybe you can flip your shares. A lot of people do that on these on Cedars. They buy shares in something that's like an IPO and then flip it for a profit, but not something I really like to get into. I'd rather buy cryptocurrency than that. I think I can get better returns. Hi, Patty. I can never get your name right. Gilfilan. I think you're in France. Nice to see you. Robert Page said, I tried to sign up to Coinbase via your link, even though I had a VPN on it. Defaulted to Greece, but I wanted to use my UK address. Any idea how to get around it? Are you talking about how to get around the VPN? You can usually just select what country you want your VPN to use. You just need to remember to clear out your cookies and your history and your cache on the browser before you do it, because if there's anything stored there, it will default. So try that. Hi, Natalie G. Welcome to the stream from London. Nice to see you. Chimpo Naughty said I should have invested in the other THC. Should you, though? I mean, you saw what my cannabis stock was doing. Debbie says, my Coinbase account was recently approved. We tried to set it up last time you did a Bitcoin giveaway, so a long time ago. Then again, we are in the dodgy Cayman Islands. Okay, well, you got it done. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got to be patient with those. I opened up an account through Voyager, and it took almost 2 weeks to get it approved. So you can always write to support. They do tend to get back to you. It takes a little bit of a time. Alan says, LendInvest moving out of development loans. Is that a good move? I like the security of these loans, and others like Cufflink and Crowd Property seem to be doing okay in that area. Yeah, so the thing about LendInvest, though, we're talking about the developments that they are going for are very, very large developments in most cases. I've seen some of their loan amounts up 10, 12 million pounds. So they're on a whole different level to Crowd Property and Cufflink. Cufflink's looking at more single-family residents. I mean, I think LendInvest knows what they're doing, and buy-to-let mortgages are pretty safe as long as they don't over-leverage and keep the loan-to-values reasonable. David Lightly says, I'm in Property Partner, unfortunately, so far all of their fifth year anniversary properties have voted to sell and come off the platform. Risk is property partner will get smaller and disappear eventually. Yeah, I think one of the properties that I have shares in, they pulled off of the sale. So if don't quote me on this, but I think that they what was it? They didn't get any offers, or the offers were really low, so they have decided to hold it. I don't know what's going on with Property Partner. I'd certainly not putting any more money in. I don't know if they're struggling at the moment, but nothing would surprise me at the moment. I hope that they are not. Yeah, for everybody that's had Coinbase issues, I had it too when I first signed up for a Coinbase account, which, if you don't know, is a cryptocurrency. It's probably the only one that I would recommend doing, and because they insure all of their customers' cryptocurrency, which is why the fees can be a little bit more. If you don't know how to buy cryptocurrency, watch the video that I've posted on the channel that shows you how to use Coinbase Pro to reduce your fees from 3% a purchase down to 0.5%. But Coinbase does insure their crypto, so that's I think is a very big positive. But what you need to do if you're having problems, make sure that the reference number that you have to get to deposit money is correct, because I've had an issue where I put the wrong reference number in. I think I had a digit that was off. It kept on getting bounced back. ES is here. Hi, ES. Sorry I'm late work. 29 thumbs up. I'll make it 30. Thank you. Yes. Coinbase is under a microscope of federal authorities. They believe the platform has opened accounts unwittingly for sanctioned entities and money laundering. Wouldn't be surprised, But I will say this. How many banks you think have opened bank accounts for people that have been laundering money, huh? Probably thousands. Yeah, if you're trying to make a deposit into Coinbase, the regular account, and then move it to Coinbase Pro. It's the easiest way to do it. Hi, Jackie Anna. Nice to see you. U.S. stocks all tanking today. Yeah, we're seeing a bit of a correction for sure. Tech is getting absolutely hammered right now because a lot of those companies were priced ridiculously. Remember, stocks are all about supply and demand. The price of them is what people will pay, just like cryptocurrency. Natalie said, what do you think about altcoins, or is Bitcoin the only one worthwhile? Think of Bitcoin like Bitcoin is like the Apple stock, right? It's probably the one that you want to own long term. And that may not even be a good example, because I'm not sure Apple right now is going to do really well. I actually sold some Apple stock that I had this week. But think of the other coins like startup businesses, that some of them will hit, some of them will miss. And, there's a couple of different thoughts about that. Some people like to just spray money at all these different coins. The problem with that is if you dilute your money too much, you could see your returns really start to fall. There are some altcoins that I think will probably do well. A couple that I have. What do I have? Let me look at my account. I can tell you. So my biggest holding right now is in Bitcoin, and then second biggest would be Ethereum, Chainlink, Synthetics, the Graph, Ren, Cardano. I have a little bit of Ripple. I have a friend that's really bullish on Ripple. I'm not so convinced that any of these coins are going to do really well, but I think the play for this is to buy some of these altcoins when the market goes down, which I think you will see a correction at some point, and then use that money to eventually sell and then go into Bitcoin, hold Bitcoin long term. That my goal eventually is to have everything held within Bitcoin. Some of the projects of the altcoins are very, very interesting, like Cardano, Polkadot, the payment system ones. But again, it's going to take mass adoption of these coins for them to really take off. A lot of it's gambling in some ways because we just don't know what's going to happen with the price of these coins. But I think if I was going to only pick one coin, it would probably be Bitcoin, and then using Ethereum when the prices drop to try to really make some good returns. But long term, Bitcoin is the one that I'm personally going to be holding. So hope that answers your question. Yeah, problem with Ethereum right now is you've got this talk of Ethereum 2.0 because Ethereum has become a very expensive coin. And when people want to use Ethereum to make transactions, you have to pay this thing called Ethereum gas. And that's, as the price of Ethereum goes up, the gas goes up too. And no, it's not the type of gas you're thinking about, you two out there. The idea of Ethereum, that was never supposed to be an expensive coin. So we're really not sure what's going to happen when 2.0 comes out, if it comes out. Eventually it's supposed to come, but yeah, remember Bitcoin is like digital gold store of value. All the other coins are being utilized for actually some kind of use. So we shall see what happens. I mean, I've done pretty good off some of those coins like Chainlink and Synthetics. Chainlink is almost tripled, but again, I just happened to buy it on a down turn when it was about $12. Now it's a little bit under $30. So again, purely timing, purely luck. Trading 212 terms changed today. They're going to start charge for a currency conversion. Really, I did not see that. Yeah, and I apologize. I do have an eToro link. Honestly, it just slipped my mind. I got it in my email. I will post it. Where can I post it? I'll put it on the Facebook group. The eToro link. John Morgan, thank you very much for the congratulations on the 1K subs. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Mike Powell says, you own done really well in investing in student shares in student buy-to-let, so naturally they're pulling out due to regulatory changes. Interesting. Patty's a big fan of, he says, I feel uneasy about anything other than buy-to-let. Look, buy-to-let is going to get you, so you say you're getting 9%. Yes, but buy-to-lets are very expensive for most people to get into, and for people that don't have £200,000 to buy a buy-to-let or don't want the risk of the debt that comes along with taking on loans, you have to look for other ways to get returns on your money. Dave Dawson says, which are the best peer-to-peer lending for buy-to-let? There really isn't a lot of options out there right now, as LendInvest would be one of them. They've got a big funding line, several £100 million too, from JP Morgan. So JP Morgan obviously has a lot of faith behind them. You're welcome, Natalie. Happy to answer your question. I'm going to show you an interesting thing too that I came across called NFTs. NFTs are non-fungible tokens. I'm going to show you this is another interesting space that really surprised me. I'll show you what NFTs are. They're blockchain ways to buy things like digital art. I've been hearing, for those of you who don't know who Mark Cuban is, the American businessman on Shark Tank, which is like the Dragon's Den over here in America. He's talked a lot about NFTs recently online. So I started looking into NFTs. It's an odd thing. I don't necessarily understand it, but it makes sense in the digital realm. In fact, let me show you what exactly NFTs and some of the things that I found on how this works. One of the most interesting one, let me show you this. This is kind of crazy. Okay, so what basically an NFT is it's a right to own a piece of digital art exclusively. So this person made this video, this digital art video, which, apologies for everybody with the bad language, but this is the art. You can see this is a depiction of Donald Trump. Somebody paid a astronomical amount of money for this NFT, which is a token of ownership on this video, right? So imagine it like digital art. Now somebody would say, well, why would somebody want to own a piece of original digital art? Something similar to why would you want to own the real piece of art? Yes, you can touch it, but we live in the digital realm right now, and you can buy prints of, the Mona Lisa, right, that are worth very little. But the one that owns the original, it's considered a valuable piece that will go up. So how much do you think, if I told you this piece of digital art went for? If you had to take a guess, put it in the comments, and then I'm going to tell you in a minute how much that piece of digital art went for. We're going to show you so this is another NFT company called Top Shot, which is sponsored by the National Basketball Association in America. And what they do is very, very interesting. They sell, hopefully the stream is working okay. They sell little pieces of kind of like highlights of sports, right? So you get these packs that you can either buy or buy on the marketplace. So think of it like sports cards. You know how the actual sports cards became more and more valuable. Some of the rare cards would go for several £100,000. Well, now NFTs are making it possible to buy these digital sports cards. And let me show you what one of these things look like. So this is one of the New York Knicks players. This is what you're actually buying, this piece of highlight, right? This is crazy, right? So this is called an NFT. It's all on blockchain, so the ownership is stored on blockchain. There can be whatever is out there. Right now there is the price here. The lowest price is $837 for this NFT, this piece of highlight reel from a basketball game. You can see here the highest price is $250,000. And there have been cases where people have paid six figures for one of these, especially when it comes to somebody like LeBron James or one of these very famous basketball players. But you can see all these serial numbers, right, for this highlight. So 4,000 of these were giving out in an edition, and what you do is buy a pack, kind of like you would buy a pack of trading cards or whatever from the shop. You buy a digital pack, and then the serial numbers. So this guy's number on his jersey is 1, right? So the guy who happened to be lucky and get number 1 is selling it for $100,000. So this is NFTs, right? This is to do with blockchain, and people are investing and they're buying these pieces of digital content and then holding on to them, and hopefully as time goes on, the prices of these pieces of digital content will increase. Really very speculative, but apparently this is the future of what is happening. And some of the prices of these digital contents are kind of crazy. So you can see the lowest here is $16 US, but if you look at the highest, 240,000. We have LeBron James. There's 59 of these pieces of content of LeBron James right here doing his fabulous dunk. The lowest price you can get one right now is $213,000, and there's only 2 for sale. So 59 people happen to get lucky when they bought one of these packs, and have gotten very, very lucky. So 2 people are selling them. The other 57 are holding them for a long time. And that's an NFT, and you buy this stuff through with credit cards, but the information is stored on the blockchain. So for anybody that thinks the world of cryptocurrency is not going to be anything, this is what it's all about, and things like this and digital art. Now, let me show you this piece of art. This thing sold for $6.6 million. $6.6 million, this piece of art of Donald Trump. There is only one owner of this thing. Yeah, somebody actually, this is the address here that's stored on blockchain to show proof of ownership. And if this person who paid $6.6 million for this art of Donald Trump laying apparently dead on the ground, they bought it because they believe that this thing is going to be worth a lot more than $6.6 million as time goes on. Other people have been able to sell music, other types of digital art. And this is how blockchain is changing the digital world that we live in. It's allowing people to sell their artwork and make money off it, and there to be original owner, just like an original painting, even though obviously you cannot really hold this piece of digital art, but you still own it. So very, very fascinating. I'm not really sure that I would want to put too much money into something like this, but it's a good case of point of how how blockchain is really changing the world that we're in, and how case use, right? We talk a lot about Bitcoin being digital gold. Well, this stuff here with these NFTs is actually using Ethereum to power these blockchain networks and payments. So you can see here the different prices that this person has tried to sell this for. Now somebody sold it here, 666,000, November 1st. So somebody paid 666,000 US dollars on October 30th, and somebody bought it for 6.6 million on February 24th. So this guy took a huge risk, this Pablo guy, and sold it to Mr. Anonymous here for 6.6 million. So it went up 10 times. Hugely risky, obviously. But this is what's going on in blockchain right now. And again, if you think, people who say blockchain, cryptocurrency is a scam, it's a Ponzi scheme. No, it's not. It's being used to make transactions like this, to create things digitally, and to show ownership on the blockchain. I think it's really fascinating. Really, really fascinating. And I think you're absolutely seeing the infancy of what blockchain is doing for our generation right now. So anyway, let me see if there is any guesses as to what you said that piece of digital art went for. See, 50. Robert Pate said 50K. No, you were kind of off. 99p, AccuChat. 50,000 pounds. Low rate. John Calley said 20,000. Stephen, 1,000. Colin said 740,000. Close. 9Axel, 3,000. Yeah, basically, Mike says it's the image rights. Yes, you are literally buying rights to an image. And you can say, I'm the only one who owns that. So 6 million, yes, 6 million, because that was what somebody values that piece of digital art at. It is an impressive piece of art. I'm not going to lie. When I saw it, I thought, why would anybody pay 6 million? But it's an impressive piece of art. I didn't realize it was Donald Trump at first, and then I saw the MAGA little thing up there. And the person that created this said, if Trump wins, this token will be changed to a video of a sexy boy King Trump stomping through hell forever. So this, he had made 2 videos. I don't know what happened to his other one. But I thought it was impressive. And I mean, I think it's insane that somebody paid $6.6 million for it. But yeah, what are you going to do? Some people, and here's another example of how people are using this blockchain to create digital art. You can see here somebody's selling it for $1,619. People are using blockchain to sell original digital art that people can hold on to for very, very different prices. So there's a lot of very interesting things going on. This is a website called Mintable that you can see. It just sells a bunch of different things for blockchain auction. Again, you're in the very infancy of what's going on with blockchain and how these coins are actually being used, and why you might want to consider buying yourself some crypto. But the guy that created that art was a smart guy. I tell you what. So there you go. That's what's going on. Anyway, let's see if we have any other news. Are we going to make... Oh, we didn't make it under an hour every time this happens. Let's see if there was anything else on my notes I had to tell you about. Kind of a quiet week for peer-to-peer lending. There's not really much news. Nothing has really changed except for the House Credit Administration. Again, we have Octopus Choice. It's going to pay probably 100% back, hopefully. Rate Setter will be paying back funds on April 2nd, so we're going to have a lot of money back in the peer-to-peer lending market. I did not check assets capital discount rate, but I presume it's going to be low. If you want to exit out of your QAA fund over there, you can get out for very cheap. Here's another interesting thing that I've been investing through on a very, very small level that I don't think there's any UK equivalent, but I wanted to show it to you because I think this is a really great way to invest, especially for young people, even older people alone. Let me show this to you. See if there's some security code I have to go through. Okay. So this is a company in the US called Acorns, which a friend of mine told me about a couple of years ago, but I just ignored it. What it does is it takes every transaction that you make on your credit or your debit card and it rounds up. So if you spend 50p buying, a Kit Kat, it'll round it up to £1 and then invest it for you into a stock fund. So you can tie in all of your credit cards to this thing, all your bank cards, anything that you want. You can set it up to auto invest if you want to do that. But you can see here roundups. So if I spend, every time I get to $5 of rounding up, it's going to invest that $5. And let's see how the returns have been. I don't remember exactly when I started it, but it'll show you the roundups that happen. Those investments go in. It usually goes in about, I don't know, $30 a month. I'm hoping in the UK there's going to be something like this because it's pretty cool. I pay $1 a month for this service, and so I wanted to see if I can show you the transactions. Not the easiest website to use, I found. Don't really care for the website. Oh, here we go. So for instance, when I go to a restaurant, spent $7.73 here, it rounds it up. The extra 27 cents goes into the investment. Go to Shell, buy some petrol, $24.91, 9p or 9 cents goes into the investment. So pretty cool, pretty cool. Let's see how we've actually done on this. Where is the returns? Here we go. You can see I've, right here in the performance, made 9% on it. So 20 US dollars. And it shows you the breakdown of the stocks. You have 130 US in large company, 11 in small company, medium and international. So I think over a few years this might actually do okay. It wouldn't be anything again that I would want to put any significant amount of money, but again, if I'm spending a few pounds or dollars at the shop, it's going to round it up and invest it for me automatically. So it's done pretty good. We'll see. Be interesting to track it over long term. I think I've had it for maybe 8 months, but I thought that was very interesting. Again, I don't know if there's anything in the UK that's equivalent at the moment. Maybe this company will come into the UK and do the same thing, but we'll see. We'll see. I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's a really cool little way to save some cash and have it automatically invested for you. So anyway, we're going to start wrapping it up. Been on here for way too long. Again, thank you to Cufflink for sponsoring this. Here we go. Sign up today. Receive up to $4 grand cash back through Cufflink. join.cufflink.com/financial-thing. Go get some cash back if you haven't tried Cufflink yet. Really appreciate them for sponsoring this YouTube show and for being a sponsor of Financial Thing in general. They've been very supportive of me for as long as I've been doing Financial Thing, and very much grateful to them. If you can support them in any way, I definitely appreciate it. And that's going to do it for this week. We'll be back next. See, when are we back? We'll be back next Thursday, and don't forget March 18th. Go get your crypto wallet, because we're going to be spinning the prize wheel like we did last time. And in order to collect the crypto, you're going to have a crypto wallet. You can get it through any way that you want, any company. I, again, use Coinbase. If you want to use Binance, you can do that. I recommend probably those two being the ones that I would choose, and that way you can get your actual wallet address. But when I give away the crypto, you're going to need to have a wallet address to receive it. I'm not going to do gift cards like last time, just because it's just easier to send crypto. I can do it in literally 10 seconds. I just need a wallet address. So get signed up at Coinbase. Let me give you the link once again. If you want to sign up, you've got basically a couple of weeks to do that, to get signed up. So don't say I didn't warn you. Give you enough time. You should be able to get your account signed up within a couple of weeks. Let me get you the link. Again, if you use this link, you can score yourself £7 of free crypto when you invest about £70. So there you go. Boom. Use that link. Again, thank you to everybody for joining me. Really love the fact that you come here every Thursday to hear me natter on. And I hope to see you again next Thursday. Have a great week. Enjoy your weekend. And be safe and be healthy. And remember, there's more to life than money. Take care.